Waiting for the host.
Afternoon, everyone. So I hope that everyone who was supposed to join the session has at least managed to join.
Peter, I think we can give them like 1 minute, not one, like 2 minutes, because no kuna representation from cost.
in a minute. Yeah. So I think you're good to start with that. Just taking you through an overview of how the new version of DigiKua looks like and what at least the entrepreneurs should be expecting from their side. Yeah. Let me just share my screen. So let's say this. So based on the changes that we did to the new version of DigiKua, so as those who have interacted with the older version at least can attest to this that change that has been put in place in terms of the structure that we are having now. As you can see, currently we are having around 6 menus, whereby the initial one we had like around 9 menus. Yeah. So with this new version, you find there's that option for creating a new business, managing cash flow, generate and send cash flow to email, and the fourth whereby they are able to view the business account that they have, account settings, and the quarterly survey. Yeah, as for now, there are some of the features that we're still at least working on to ensure they are up by tomorrow, the day that we'll be presenting to them. Yeah, so with this new version, there are different options that they can do from their end. This is how this cash flow looks like once they are registered on the platform for those who don't have the DigiKua from their side. The last DigiKua cash flow that we had, you find the entrepreneurs, once they registered on the platform, the cash flow was being sent to their email directly during that particular time of registration or interacting with the platform, whereby maybe we were coming into new year. But with this new change that is in place, once they are registered on the platform, they can now interact with the different options that they are here. And for them to attain the cash flow, what they just do is to use the option 3, whereby they can generate and send cash flow to email. Another thing that has been put into place last year, we find mostly the Google Sheet was acting as data storage mostly, whereby you find most of the data that the entrepreneurs were inputting was being only stored on the Google Sheet, whereby you find maybe there's an entrepreneur who has maybe done an error to the particular cash flow that they're working on. And with that, you find maybe formulas aren't linking as required. So with that, at least with this revised version that we have, we are able to capture the data in two formats, whereby you find there's that data that is being stored on the sheets also, and the data being also stored within the database. So it's like it's storing the data in two-way form, whereby we have the database also as a point of storage of the data. So in the event that you find maybe an entrepreneur has tampered with that particular cash flow that they are having, what they'll just do is just generate and send cash flow to him, and it will just pick the data that they had inputted earlier that was stored within the database relating to their businesses, and just send that particular data to them. At least we will not be having that issue of maybe each and every time the entrepreneurs have tampered with the cash flow that they are having. So those are some of the adjustments that we put into place with this new current version that we are having. Yeah, so let me just take you through the different tabs that we are having during this with this new version that we have. So with this new version here,
Yeah.
so I don't maybe I dropped a little bit. This is the part that I was presenting. Is there anyone maybe that did not hear me before maybe I dropped off? Or are we together until this point that I am presenting with regards to the overhead expenses?
Peter, we lost you for a couple of seconds. Maybe if you can just repeat what you said before you dropped.
So you lost me from which point exactly?
From the previous presentation you were making before you came into this one. Yeah.
So basically, I was talking about this particular new cash flow that we have, the different tabs that are in place as opposed to the new one that we had, the older version that we had earlier. So I was going through the different tabs that you have, whereby I started with the first tab being the cash flow tab, whereby it summarizes the different operations that the entrepreneurs have updated on their cash flow. So with the new format that we are having, it entails like the revenue, basically kicking the revenue that they have attained from the sales that they have done on the different tabs. The cost of goods sold. Also, this is one thing that you find was bringing an issue to the entrepreneurs, especially when it came to the bit of updating their quarterly survey, whereby they're being asked in terms of maybe the gross margin also. And based on this, we also managed to input that within this particular overview, at least. So by that going forward, that question of entrepreneurs being asked the gross margin, at least it won't be in place. The fact that you find most of the entrepreneurs have been maybe inputting figures that are not that correct. which result to, at least from our end, doing most of the edit to correct that. So things like gross margin also will be captured on that particular cash flow, the new version that they will be using. The operating expenses, the operating cash flow that they are having, the capital expenditure, the loans stock repayments that they have done, and also the investment that they have attained. So basically, those are some of the key stuff that will be captured with this new format of the new version of DigiKua that we are having. Yeah, so I was taking you through the different tabs that are in place, whereby I went to the tab of the overhead expense. So I was taking you through the different things that will be captured in relation to the overhead expense that the entrepreneurs will be creating using the DigiKua platform. So these are some of the things that they'll be asked, like the account paid to, the type of expense. Basically, we'll be listing them the different expense that they that you are expecting them to be updating based on the option that they'll be given, and the supplier's phone number, amount spent on that particular overhead that they incurred, and the overhead expense name, and also the date and the month in which they recorded that particular overhead expense. So, and the third tab, which entails the capital expense. So for the capital expense, also we put this part here to capture things like the account paid to. So I'll take you through on the DigiKua platform for the WhatsApp on how the menu look like. The type of expense that the capital expense entails, the supplier's phone, also the amount spent, and the lifespan of that particular capital expense, just to at least know the depreciation, maybe span of that capital expense that they had bought, and the capital expense name, capturing also the date and the month. So in terms of the investment, these are things that we are looking into. The option that they'll be asked for that particular investment in terms of maybe loan, grant, equity. Maybe was it something that they're given by friends and family? Was it inheritance? And capturing the amount and date of that particular investment. One thing that is different with this new version of and the new DigiKua version is that with the earlier version, you find the entrepreneurs could be able to add the records on that particular cash flow, like doing the edit from their end. But with this one now, most of the edit they're going to do using the DigiKua platform, and now it updates both the cash flow and the same record is now being stored on the database, as opposed to the older version that we had earlier, whereby you find you are doing the edits on the same cash flow, which at sometimes was bringing a lot of maybe errors from their side. Yeah. The product sales that they did from their side. So find on the product sales, there's something like the product variant. Basically, the product variant, find maybe if somebody is selling something like the main product maybe being peanuts. So under the product variant, they can now input maybe like peanut, the different grams that maybe they're selling. Those one now can fall under the different variant that they have. And the quantity that they sold for that maybe product, the revenue generated, the type of sale also basically will be capturing also was that particular sale, cash sale, credit sale, and also the account paid to. It's going to list the different options for them to pick from there. The client phone, or if maybe they have that particular client phone that they did the sale to, or if they don't, there's that option that also grant them to do that also. And for this bit, majorly, most of the entrepreneurs won't be using this bit, but we also thought at least putting it into place, at least to assist them in just knowing how their businesses are going, this income statement. And also there's this part for also the balance sheet, which of course, based on what the record that they have submitted, it should now be able to do the calculation of these different records that they should be expecting under the balance sheet. This is now the cash flow statement also. But for this one, mostly you find most of the entrepreneurs might not be using it. The bit that they'll be interacting with, maybe it's in terms of maybe the product variant inventory. This one will be mostly the tabs that they'll be interacting with mostly. Until that point, maybe we maybe at par, maybe if there's any question before I proceed. So with that, I think I can now proceed. Under the part for the products that the entrepreneurs will be having, they'll be asked the name of the product, the category in which that product belongs to. Maybe is it a food related? The category, is it food? There'll be that list of the different categories in which they'll select while adding that particular product. The product variant also, the unit price of that product, and also the unit of measure. Is it maybe in kg, in grams, things of the sort. And we have the product variant. It will be capturing the variant name that they'll be having, the main product, and the unit price. We have the product variant inventory. So this is a test example that did sometime previously, whereby, as you can see here, this is an example of a product variant inventory that was updated on this particular cash flow of this particular business. So they are being asked the variant name, the quantity stock, dead stock, and the stock value. As you can see, this particular records that come here, basically the entrepreneurs will not be able to update the records within this particular cash flow that is in here. But in the event, maybe they do update the sheet, at that point whereby they select that option for them to be generated a spreadsheet on their side, being sent to their mail, it will automatically override what they have done the edits during that particular time. So at least with this new version, it inhibits the entrepreneur from doing the manual edits on the cash flow. Yeah. And you have the tab for the services. So basically it will capture maybe the name of the service, the category in which that particular service belongs to, the price at which that service is being sold, and the unit of measure that they measure that particular service that they have added is going to be sold at. So that's under services, and the service variant. Yeah, so under the service variant, this is something that we're still working on, but at least by tomorrow it should be up. So it will also be having the different options that they'll be asked. And we have the clients and suppliers. This bit basically captures, you find that those clients that an entrepreneur maybe will be serving maybe on a recurrent basis, and also maybe during the purchase of maybe the raw material that they'll be using. Those are some of the details that maybe they would like to capture. Also with this new version, at least it will facilitate that from their side to be able to put the update of the clients and the suppliers that they have, capturing the phone number, the name, the email, debit or credit. But basically under the debit and credit, this is going to capture maybe the clients maybe that they did the sale to. was that particular sale a credit or a debit on their side. So capturing those dynamics for when it's come to the client and the suppliers. And you have the tab for the cost of goods, capturing maybe the account paid to, the type of expense that they incurred during maybe that transaction that they did in terms of the cost of goods, the supplier's form, the amount spent on that particular cost of good, the product variant, and the expense name, date, and the month. So then we have this particular tab for the accounts. Basically, under the accounts now, it has the different accounts that the entrepreneurs will be having. You find the startup account name, like maybe the petty cash. The DigiPay wallet is something that is currently not in place. The credit purchases, the credit sales, maybe their bank accounts, just having them in place. If it is maybe something like till, also the pay bill, capturing those under the accounts that they have. Yeah, so, and then you have got the things like under the accounts, things like the account initial balance will also be something that is in place. Basically, this one will come maybe at a later stage in terms of maybe when it comes to the e-commerce side of it, maybe they'll be doing the different transactional operation within the same DigiKua platform, but this is something that we are also looking into this new version as we progress. The account current balance, basically this will be capturing the different amount that will be within those different accounts, because if an entrepreneur might be having maybe with a set account, maybe like, let's say maybe M-Pesa, this maybe initial balance that they are having also, and maybe it's something like bank account, a different maybe amount. So you find based on maybe the different operation that they might be doing on the platform, there will be that deduction in the amount that they are having on. Also maybe the account may be having certain amount based on the different operation that they do. But that's something that we're looking in terms of the long-term bit of it. Yeah, so we have the tab for also operation, which is something that we are also looking into, at least putting into consideration. And also the financing bit, but this currently is empty. Just figuring out what will fall into this particular tab. And the tab for also the source of fund, capturing maybe the fund source name. Was that fund maybe from maybe source fund being a name maybe like Tala, Optimizer, maybe was it self? The type of fund that they receive, was it maybe loan, personal finance, or inheritance? And the amount of fund. And we do have the transaction type, whereby we have maybe they did maybe a purchase amount that they incurred. Was it maybe a debit or a credit purchase that they did, description, date, and also capturing the month. And maybe another type of transaction type, maybe they might be having a sale that they did. Was it maybe a cash sale, debit sale, when they did that particular sale? And also maybe the deposit and the withdrawal. That's now whereby I find the tab for account will come in handy, just capturing the different operations that will be going through within the accounts in terms of maybe the transaction. So we have this account, the tab for money account name, the account type. This one will be some of the things that will be captured mostly as they interact with the platform. Maybe the account name under the money account, the account type, the account initial balance, basically picking the record from the different accounts that they'll be having, the account current balance that they'll be having, and their account available balance that they'll be having, and also the date. And the last bit is basically the avoid expense, which I think I covered it on the one of these previous tabs. So basically, this is the format that we are looking into towards having this new version of the DigiKua that the entrepreneurs will be having. So this is the format of the cash flow that at least they should be expecting from their side. Yeah, so up to that point, is there anyone with a question, or anyone from the tech team who got something to add, maybe can add on to that with regards to the part for cash flow?
Okay, Peter, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so I think you've handled it well in terms of explaining the different parts. So from our tech side, I think we are clear. So in terms of maybe from the team, if you can maybe we pause for questions, and also if any person have any issue in terms of some tabs, yeah, you can maybe we can have like 1 to 2 minutes for explaining maybe and answering those questions. Yeah.
So maybe I can take you through on the bit for what they should be expecting when it's come to the interaction on the WhatsApp platform, the different menus and what the different operation that they should be at least be using in terms of the update of their financial records. So with this new version, we find an entrepreneur can maybe input more than one business using this particular platform, but at least what we're looking into, at least for them having one business. But you find for those maybe who have got maybe more than one, they can use this particular tool at least to assist them with record keeping bit of it, at least keeping those two accounts separate. So what they'll need to do first is maybe create the new business that they'll be having. But from my side, I do have a couple of maybe test business that I've been using earlier. So just select the first option for maybe creating a new business. So this is what they'll be asked. What is the name of the business? You can maybe type test. So they'll be asked the business that they are adding, which category does it fall into? So is it a packaged good business, durables? As you can see, most of this selection relate to the different categories that are within the Somo Invest platform. So they can maybe select something, maybe their business belong to maybe something like, let's say maybe a service business. So they just select the 16 to proceed. And by that, they'll have created the business successful on their side. So you find once they do like an update of maybe something like a product, maybe doing sale, at that point is where they'll be asked this particular sale that they are doing, under which business does it fall into? So maybe let me just add another maybe business using the same option. So the initial one is selected belonging to a service. Maybe you can select a category belonging maybe something like durables. So you find with this, records are being updated on the database, as opposed to the one that the one that we had earlier, whereby you find the records are being updated on the sheets only. So go back. And you can now select the second option. So you find most of the operations that the entrepreneurs were using the older version of DigiKua that they were using. Basically, that those options can now be done using this particular option too, under the manage cash flow from their side. So you can just select two. Basically, this is the part that they'll be interacting with mostly. So as you can see, creating new products. Maybe the language has changed, whereby the initial one had like adding a new product, creating product variant. This is something that we have added maybe as a new stuff, but for like option one, creating a new product is something that maybe the language has changed. The initial one maybe being adding a new product, and this one now being creating a new product. And the third option, maybe updating product inventory, something that was still on the previous version, creating the new service and creating the service variant, submitting sale, and then submitting service sale, registering new client, submitting the cost of good until the 11th option. Yeah, so basically that's what is captured under the manage cash flow part, which is the option 2. Once they log in onto the platform, they can maybe select creating a new product for option 1, like by selecting just option 1. So they'll be asked what is the name of the new product that they are adding. Maybe we can say maybe training, because we added maybe they have a business dealing with service also, and maybe do have training. Yeah. So under the training that business that they have added, that these are the different things that they'll be asked. And they select the measurement in units. So this is under this part, like unit of measure. So basically it can be in terms of hours. So, and you can see here the different maybe businesses that we have under maybe the test, this particular account that we have added, the one for, we had added one business being a test business and another business being a test business too. So you can see based on this, based on what they'd like to update that their business are dealing with, they can now just select maybe for this particular training business that I'm doing, it's related to this particular business, maybe just selecting the maybe 1424, that particular ID. So let's just wait for the response to come through. Yes. We're supposed to be training under that part for creating new product. Training. Then select hours. Select the ID, which is 1424. So as for that, it tells us that product has been added successfully, but it's not updating on our sheet. That's something that I'll need to look into. But basically, that's what they'll be displayed as they update on the different options that they'll be having. So you find this particular data has now been inputted on our database, and also a copy of it should be updating the cash flow. But I'll just look into that aspect of it, not updating on the cash flow. So, but once that step has been done from our side, you find maybe when they generate this particular cash flow, it should just pick this record that they have updated, and it displays them on the cash flow that they might have generated that particular time. So those are the different steps that they'll be asked in terms of maybe creating a new product. And it should also update the cash flow that they'll be having. Yeah. Those are some of the things that should be happening at the same time. And then we have something like creating product variant. Two. So and for my case, it seems like I had already maybe added a couple
Peter.
of products on my side. Yeah.
Yeah, I raised my hand, but you never saw it. So I had a question on
Yeah.
creating the business.
Yeah.
From what you are displaying, I could see that you created two businesses. So I was
Yeah.
wondering if maybe the business is corner farm.
Yeah.
Now, is it that you are creating two businesses because of the different products or services that they are offering?
No, basically the two businesses that are being created basically to capture, maybe you find an example of someone maybe dealing with something like that you have said, maybe a corner farm, maybe dealing with farming of maybe things like snail.
Yeah.
That's a business on its own, and also maybe having another businesses that they are also maybe undergoing at that particular time, apart from the corner farm that they're having. So that is where the difference comes into play. Just having maybe the different records apart from maybe the one that they are having, because you find there might be entrepreneurs using the same business to capture also maybe businesses that records of business that are not related to the business that they are working on at that particular time. So that's where the distinction comes into place. But what we advise them is to have the one business that they maybe have
Peter,
that are running. Yeah.
maybe to give Silas the best example is there's a business, one business under Somo who have hardware, and at the same time he has an agricultural farm. So the two, for agriculture, he has an account, a business account, a different one. Then we have the other one, which is now the hardware bit of it, having another account. So the two cannot be maybe in under one cash flow. So he needs to have the two accounts. But for one who maybe operates with one kind of maybe product or service, can just have one account. Yeah.
Okay, clear. Well understood.
Yeah, so I was taking you through on the second bit for creating product variant. So they'll be asked maybe to select the main product that they'll be having, because under the first part whereby they create a new product, basically it should list for them something like training here also, but it's not listing to them. As you can see, what it's listing basically is something like maybe peanut. This which was test that I did maybe earlier. So if I under this particular part for product variant that they have, maybe they can maybe add the name of a product variant that they have. As I said earlier, maybe you find somebody might dealing with something like maybe selling honey. And from that point, so now they'd like maybe to add a variant for that particular honey that they're selling. But if they can have maybe something like peanut 800 grams, peanut 100 grams as the variant of the product that they're selling. Yeah, so under this one here, maybe I can just maybe type anything maybe for test, which is a dummy data, just to portray what they should be expecting with regards to the product variant. Maybe something like let me just type maybe something like honey, 1 kg. So what they'll be asked, enter the variant name being this particular column here. Enter the variant name. Or actually, I should have selected from this particular ID here, not typing the name. So just going back, selecting the second option. And based on the product variant that I'm having, as you can see, I have got maybe the different IDs. So from this point, I should be selecting maybe these IDs. Yeah, the 22, 23, and then 25. Maybe I can just select 28 product test. And then from that point is when I'll type the variant name of that product. And then it's going to ask me the unit price for it. Maybe something like 1,000. You see, before updating it, it also asks me maybe which business does that product belong to. So from that point is where by now I'll select maybe something, is it belong to a test business, the same thing that I did earlier. Maybe I can just select maybe 1423. And define variant added successful. So if you should be able to have the different variant that product variant that we have, but it hasn't updated on this particular cash flow side of on my left side. Basically, that is what should be happening while they do the update of maybe product variant. It updates with the product variant ID. This one it will generate automatically. And now with the different things that they updated, it should be updating it here automatically. Yeah. And the third option for updating product inventory. The same thing, they'll be asked to select I've selected the, yeah, so while they want to update the product inventory, they'll select which particular product variant that they have. Because it seems like even the product variant that I added hasn't been displayed here. But basically that is what should be displayed. The one that we added, the honey 1 kg, it should also be among this particular product variant here as you select the inventory of them. But that's something that we look into from our side just to ensure that it pops up as required. So with the update of the product inventory, they'll be selecting the different inventory that the product that they have, and they would like to update their inventory. Maybe something like the peanut 800 grams, how many did they stock, something of the sort. Enter the quantity. Can just type maybe 10. But this on my left side here, this was a test that we added earlier. So you find it will capture the date in which that particular stock was captured. If it is maybe today, we should just update the quantity stock and the date in which it was stocked. And also there's this bit that captures the 3 months time frame, whereby they can capture maybe a record of January, December, and also November. So you find also those entrepreneurs who might have not taken their, might have not updated their records before the quarterly survey that they usually take, will also have that opportunity to update the different financial record that they'll need. So maybe you can select maybe one for this particular month that you are in the year, Jan, and you enter the dates in which they stocked it. Maybe you can type today. So based on this, it should be able to update, maybe I should be able to update another column here, updating this particular site, and then updating it with the correct record that you are updated. That is in terms of the product variant update of inventory. So, and then they start creating a new service, the same process of creating a new product, the same that while doing for the service will take place, and also submitting a product sales and service. Maybe I can just take you through the different options that they'll be asked under submitting product sale. They'll be asked the product variant that will like submit the sale. They can select the same ID, maybe 22. So this was the product variant, the quantity falling to this particular amount, do the sold to. And also when did they make that particular sale, which month specific. And now entering the date, maybe you can say today. Under this particular part here, whereby they should enter maybe the phone number of the client phone. So basically, find for maybe those sales that they'll be selling as a credit, it will be at least convenient for them to input the phone number of that particular client that they'll be doing the sale to. Or if they don't like, they can just type one to skip. So those are the changes that have been into place. And we can select something like maybe one to skip for now, but for the demonstration purposes, we just type the phone number for tomorrow, but I can just type one to skip for now. And the what type of sale was this? Was this a cash or credit? So you can say maybe it was cash. The amount that they made, maybe 1,000. How did they receive the payment? Was it maybe M-Pesa equity? Or this basically captures the account. So maybe say something like maybe M-Pesa. Yeah, so basically it seems like the submission of the sale hasn't gone through, but basically those are the different steps that they'll be asked when it comes to the update of maybe the product sale that they'll be doing.
Peter,
Yeah.
yes, what happens if somebody's paid the money like physically without using M-Pesa or Equity? How do we record it?
Oh, well, for that, I think I will need to add an option for also maybe the cash bit, whereby they can select this particular sale that I did it in form of cash. That's something that also I have viewed as I was doing the presentation. It's something that we need at least to put into place with regards to the different modes of payment that they would have received the payment of the product that they are selling. Yeah. That's also a good point to put into consideration, Silas. Yeah, we'll look into that also.
And then for bank, maybe you can just put bank instead of Equity because maybe they might be using different accounts.
Yeah. That one now is capture maybe the bank, and then from there they just type maybe the amount which they receive. Yeah, not having like the name of the bank, because every entrepreneurs are using different bank accounts. Yeah, that's correct. We'll also look into that. And there's this option for registering new client also. Submitting cost of goods, submitting overhead expense. I do believe at least you do have maybe the DigiKua for number. From your end, at least you can just be doing your interaction with it and just give us your feedback maybe before the end of today on some of the parts that you find. Things that need fine tuning before we roll it out to the entrepreneurs. But basically, the different options that they were doing using the old DigiKua version are summarized in the second option, which is the manage cash flow part. And there's this part for also generating and send cash flow to email. Basically, this one now they can just select 3. And by that, they can just type any email that they like to send that particular cash flow to, or their email. So with that particular, their cash flow will be sent to the email that they have inputted there, or the email of the person maybe requesting to view their financial record. Basically, as for the cash flow part would be used as maybe a view only template to the entrepreneurs, as most of the record will be having in the database. Yeah. Also, the view business account option, it should be able to list to them the different accounts that they are having. So these are some of the adjustments that we need to work on our side, at least to be up before we do the presentation for them by tomorrow. Yeah. And also the account setting part, where they can create a new money account. Also, these are some of the parts that we need to revise on our side. At least once they are up, they should be able to go just having the different operations to be that they'll be taking. For the quarterly survey, at least most of you know how it operates. Just for the ask from our side is at least going through the platform on the different options that I haven't maybe taken you through based on time. I'm just giving us feedback on maybe where areas that you think need to be revised on our side. Yeah. Or is there any person from tech team that would like to add onto something? So I can stop at that point. Just interact with the different options and just share out your views on how you feel things should work out on, and some of the areas that you think need to be worked on. Yeah, to be more efficient and smooth while interacting with the platform. So you can just maybe share a feedback form on your side at least giving out your feedbacks on some of the things that you think need to be worked on. Yeah. Yeah, so that's it from my side. Maybe if there's anyone in the question.
Okay, yeah. So if there's no question, I think we can end the meeting at this point. So we'll share the meeting recording with everyone. Was it mnanisikia kweli? Yeah, we'll share the meeting recording with everyone, and then in case of any question, you can reach out to us. Yeah, so goodbye, everyone. Oh, I'll go meeting.